welcome to the Heroes of Cosplay Sanctuary. This is your host, Scotty B. Today, we want to talk about the keepers of the gates, folks, the gatekeeping people in the community. I don't have any specifics to really go into. Like, I am not here to talk about individuals who might be doing this, who might be gatekeeping inside of the cosplay community. It is a topic that's come up, of course, on the show before, because it's not that we want to beat a dead horse here, but it has been something that's been on my mind for a while, that there is a lot of gatekeeping in the cosplay community. Whether or not you're aware of this, it happens. It happens often. There are a lot of smoke and mirrors and messages, DMs, and it can be a game because you never really know who's doing what. And I don't put it past creators, people in this space, especially if they're trying to gain clout, especially if they're trying to grow their platform, and they're doing this in a manner in which they are reaching out to their mutual people in their space, people that are growing at about the same rate or maybe a little faster than they are, or just up and coming people, new people in the space, and they're becoming friends with them. They're assuring them, they're kind of fishing for information. And as soon as they get it, and as soon as you write it, they're swiping that, and they're sending it to other people, and they're taking it out of context. And you have no idea that these people are doing that. Or they're even telling you that the only way to get to other people, the only way to collaborate or coordinate or do things that you want to do inside of this community, never reach out to that person. You can go through me. And this is like, it's so weird. Like, you're all just people that are online. You don't live in the same space. You don't work, like, you're not going to the same cons even in some cases, but you're telling people that those activities are off limits unless you're doing something else and you're working through them. You know, this is cons. This is being involved in shoots. This is keeping a person from being on a panel. This is, influencing a judge. This is telling grown adults what they can and cannot do, even with their families at a public event. I mean, this is crazy stuff. All the gatekeeping that goes on is saying, no, you can't go to this venue unless it's okay with me. And the only person defining whether or not it's okay with me might be the me that's telling them. The people in the community, they see what somebody's doing, they're like, oh, they're gaining traction. We have to put this to rest. We have to stop them from doing this, or we have to make sure that we're getting something out of this, that they're working through us in order to do this, as if their popularity contest should be protected in some way, and that this will all affect their numbers, and that everyone's going to leave their platform because there's just not enough room on any platform in social media for one more cosplayer. And that is just, it's a weird thing. It's about poaching. I don't know, like, is it about poaching, or somebody says something about somebody and there's all these little rumors going around, and suddenly the gatekeepy folks jump in and start telling you what you can and cannot do, and you don't even know. Like, you're like, wow, like, nobody's reaching out to me, nobody's saying anything to me, nobody cares. And I talk to all these people and they seem nice, but then nothing ever comes of any of these collaborations, or nothing ever comes, or I always have to adjust to it with them, and then they keep me away from all these other people that they know, because they don't want me to get in with them, because then they think that they wouldn't be. That's a weird thing. Like, that's like super high school as far as I know. Like, that might even be middle school. Like, I don't know, that just seems like a really immature way to go about doing anything. So the thing that I do recommend is really just stay in your own lane. The people that like the people that I know are going to be the people that I know. I'm not, outreach for the show is a little bit different. Having guests on the show is a little bit different. These are not, really big collaborators. These are people that I want to make episodes on because I want people to know what they're up to. I want to have them share their information, their stories with all of you. That isn't a gatekeeping sort of a thing. That's just who wants to be on the show and what do they want to share, because I'm really interested in hearing what you have to say, and I love doing research on just those things that you share. It's a lot of, it's just really great every time there's a guest on the show, and I do work with quite a few of them on different projects as we've been going on. But you have to be careful. You have to be careful about who approaches you and what and why and what some of the red flags are, especially in the communication. If people are complaining a lot, or if there's a lot of judgment, or if you just see a lot of this sort of focus on one or two individuals in every single thing, there could be a problem. And that might be a flag that somebody is trying to make an influence one way or the other to keep you away from someone else. And always make sure whoever it is identifying themselves, that there is a way for you to, if you're collaborating or whatever it is you're doing with somebody, you might want to get that on paper, depending on who you're talking to. And you might want to make sure that you know the person that you know. Like, you want to know them. Every friend that I've had, when you grow up with people, okay, you go to a school, right? Maybe you get homeschooled, I don't know. But you used to go to an elementary school and you knew the guy sitting next to you and you knew his full name. You knew his first name, his last name. And if you became friends with that person, you knew them. You knew where they lived. You knew their phone number. You knew their name. You were friends with them. You knew their parents. You lived in the same community. How much of that information do you ever get with any of your friends in the online space? No one wants to share anyone with anything. Nobody's sharing information. They don't want you to know because you're not obviously in elementary school. You don't actually know much of anything about any of these people. They are literal strangers on the internet, and yet you want to trust them. You look at the things that they produce and you say, oh, these are so amazing. And you have this many followers. So of course I'm going to be grateful that you spend any of your time on me. But at the end of the day, no full name, no address, no phone number, no nothing. These people don't actually exist as friends to you, because friends know things about each other. Like they contact each other off of a social media platform. They interact with each other. They do things together, not just online. Like, that is a different thing. I'm not even sure what I want to call that, because that is a totally different episode. But just remember, like, there are kids involved with cosplay. There are kids that go to cons. There are families that go to cons. Like, people don't get into that space. So this is it's a thing that happens. If you're not a business, they're not a business, there's no compensation, then honestly, why is there gatekeeping going on? Like, what is there to actually protect that hasn't been, at the end of the day, the people on this platform, it's somebody else's platform. It's not your platform. You put the content on it, but it's not yours. The medium of the exchange of the information belongs to someone else. It's somebody else's intellectual property, and you're there along with everybody else doing the same thing. You don't really have any business telling anybody else who they can or cannot talk to on this platform that you don't own. You can't do that. Like, that is way out of line, in my opinion. So that's where I'm going to end, folks. I think I've gotten salty enough today that, hey, it's Inferno Saga, season 4. This is what we like to do. We are, the second half of the season has been a lot of fun so far. And I really thank you for watching. Make sure that you're liking and commenting and subscribing to the channel. And you can follow us below for all the new content, all the spaces online. And of course, as always, Heroes of Cosplay Sanctuary is a safe space for you to share your tips, your builds, all of your stories, and the causes that we should be aware of in the cosplay community. This is Scott B, the Heroes of Cosplay Sanctuary, saying bye-bye, everybody.